right. So this trailer is I believe it's a 7x14 and then 6 foot tall. I like the 7x14. It'd be nice if it was one of the kind of more car hauler trailers where it was an 8x14. But this is doable. What I wish, because I'm 6'2", 6'3" and I can hit my head on this thing, especially the doors, pretty easy. And then, so let's open this whole thing up. That's the one thing I don't like. You see on the back here, we have the barn doors. The barn doors are very nice. I don't know, there's a lot of guys out here that are doing it with the drop down door. I could not imagine hanging or running gutter with a drop down door. It just seems like you would be bent over all the time, putting strain on your back. So we're gonna go ahead, I guess we'll do a little tour and then I'm gonna show you how I do my setup. So first things first, whenever you open up these back doors, we have a few different gutters. This gutter, I guess there's just spare gloves in there. I never use that compartment really. This one just spare charger, spare tape. This is what we use most of the time. We typically carry enough batteries on us and we just charge them at the shop every night. And then in this gutter, we have pencils, pens, seamers, downspout crimps, and cap crimps. We have our, that's a 12-inch single bevel miter saw. Honestly, it's the cheapest saw on the market that DeWalt has. I would go with a DeWalt saw, or at least something of the same degree. The Milwaukee saws are just super expensive. I don't own any Milwaukee corded saws, and none of the miter saws. The miter saws just are super expensive. And at the end of the day, my guys kind of toss that thing around, so it's going to get torn up. We do have the Milwaukee circular scale saws, but we have 2 hole punches. Both of them are for 3x4s. We don't do any 2x3 downspouts. The 3x4s, it just handles more water. It's easier to just do one type of downspout. I don't really see a point of doing 2x3s at this point in time. So we have 2 of them. That way guys can be on opposite sides of the house punching holes. A lot of people will punch holes when they run the gutter out. I don't. We have downspouts here. Typically these bottom 2 just have downspout miscellaneous extra spouts. That's good for whenever you're on a job site and you're like, oh, I need another downspout. Maybe you have it on there, maybe you have a close color. I don't really like to paint full downspouts, but if that's our only option, that's our only option. And then the box that's up top, that's typically for the job of the day. The bottom downspouts, the miscellaneous pile, is also really good for if you show up to a job, it's an estimate, they just need a downspout added. Maybe there's misslope, maybe a downspout fell off the house. Maybe I have the color, maybe I have one that's close enough, and they'll be happy with it. It's probably an older gutter system anyways, so that's nice to have. We have hangers here. I just keep a ton of them in stock. What is there, 4, 8, 10, 11 and a half boxes there. We know we're going to use them. Our traffic cones at this house, we do not need traffic cones today, but that's where we keep that. These are our guards. The only guard that we really ever install are these 5-inch small hole self-locking gutter guards. I love those guards. Cord, this is a 5-inch KWM Ironman. This machine is about a year old, and so far, I mean, no issues. It does create a little bit of like a scuff on the bottom of the gutter from time to time, but it's easy enough to, sometimes it'll rub off, sometimes we have to do a little bit of touch-up paint, but that's fine. Down here we keep our gutter stands. our run out stands. This is our miter saw stand. And we actually, whenever we first got the miter saw, we had to cut the legs so that whenever we set this thing up, the gutter will run straight out onto the stand. I know they make the fold down stands. Those are super awesome. They're just very expensive, so that's why we don't have one on here. On the KWM Ironman, we just have a spool. Another thing that I would like to add, other than the drop down saw table, would be a mini cradle. I haven't decided if we want a mini cradle or a full-size cradle. I think a mini cradle will be fine. But then again, it just costs money. So right now we just use the spool that's been working good for the last year. On top of the machine, this is just our, this house is bronze. These are just our bronze accessories for the day. This is actually ordered for the job. This is extras that we have in our shop. I try to throw them in here. Back here on this shelf, these are just white A and B elbows. I keep some pads up here for getting on the roof. These are very helpful. This one is super helpful for dormers, the roof hopper. It's $100. Well, that thing will like save your life. It'll save so much time. Down here we have miscellaneous, so adapters for underground downspouts. These are all of our wedges. We're going to use some of those today. And then geocell, we keep a lot of that down there. And then we keep the table saw. We don't do just gutter, so we do fascia and soffit as well. A lot of times it's wood. We use that a lot of times for fascia and soffit. But it's got a metal blade on it, so creating splash guards is super easy. Just pull it out, plug it in, run some gutter on it, create some splash guards without having to snip it. These are more plain white pieces, miscellaneous. This right here, I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's just a bag of end caps, left and right miscellaneous. This is inside strip miters. Typically we carry a full box of outside as well. All of our paints here, there's two of some of them not. It's kind of hard to organize the paints, but this is kind of what we've come up with. These are the metal roof cougar paws. We don't use them that often, that's why they're in the trailer. My shingle roof cougar paws are actually in the back of my truck. Extra extension cord. These are lawn shears, but that's not quite what I use them for. We'll use these whenever you feed gutter into the gutter machine. You have to cut a triangle, so to feed it better into the machine, you're supposed to cut this, and it'll feed in the machine. We use these shears, just super easy, snip, snip, done. Scale for whenever we have partial coils. We're gonna pull this coil off here and put our bronze coil, which is down there, on there, and so that I know how much coil's on there, you weigh it and then you just multiply it by 2.6 for 5-inch coil. Over here, so outside strip, inside strip, outside bay, inside bay, that's where we keep them, just easy access. All whites, white right end caps, white left end caps. I love to keep extra white because whenever you're at a house like this house, it is probably 45 minutes from a supply store. So either you mess up an end cap, maybe the supplier forgot to give you an end cap, you lost an end cap, whatever. We got a white end cap, we can paint it. Anytime we paint anything, I like to put it on like the back side of the house where customers aren't going to be at, but it's always an option. You're also going to use a lot of white, so white is the most common gutter color, so we carry white. Some extra 1.5 inch, these are Raytech gutter hanger screws. Looks like we got some Terra bronze screws, and those are just white screws. And then this is a miscellaneous bag of screws as well, but that's not our main bag of screws. Down here, so this Milwaukee pack out, this thing is just fantastic. So you can see every single color of screw that we can get, we have. This is 3 layers. So this ends up being a very expensive box of screws, but the nice thing is whenever we need screws, we have screws. The bottom box, this carries our, so we have some Tapcons. We don't use Tapcons super, it's not super common, but we have some just in case. These are our Raytech 1.5" zip screws, some brad nails that we don't use, but I threw them in there. They actually should probably come out. And then some blueies. I hope you guys can see all that. There you go. But yeah, so this pack out, these Milwaukee pack outs are definitely expensive, but that's awesome to have. Down under the gutter machine here, just a simple leaf blower. I recommend a leaf blower, helps with cleanup. And then also clean off people's roofs before you put gutters on. The last thing I want is a call back from a customer telling me the gutters don't work when the only issue is there was debris on the roof and it wound up clogging their gutters in the first 2 weeks of installing gutters. And then because we do fascia and soffit, we have some sawhorses. I'm sure you noticed, and we haven't gone over them yet, our ladder wall. So a lot of companies, almost every single gutter trailer I see, they're throwing extension ladders through the hallway. I don't like doing that. You also don't see a lot of gutter people with these. This is called a multi-position pro, Little Giant, whatever you want to call them. These are heavy, but they are so convenient on the job site because you can adjust height. The only downside to these ladders is that they're heavy, but so we keep 2 of the big, I think these are 22 or 24 footers when extended all the way up. And then this is a shorter one. This one's like a 14 footer. And then we have a little bitty like paint ladder for whenever we're doing single story paints. It can hold the paint bucket up at the top. Come around here, so this is something we do a little different at Chappell Gutter. We have ladder racks on our trucks. Typically our trucks come with all of our trucks have a 24 footer and then a 32 footer, and my truck doesn't have a 32 footer on it, but that's because I roll alone a lot. But all of our other trucks have a 24 and a 32. I don't let my guys use a 32 without someone else there. Theo, get off the window. He's cute, ain't he? Inside my personal truck, I always carry a ladder of my own in there. And then my toolbox, I mean, it's just crammed full of stuff, extra batteries, socket set. This has the most popular screws and stuff that I use. More leaf blowers. That's for whenever I just go do single or solo cleanouts. A lot of times I'll have my guys come do these installs and I'll go do the cleanouts because I'm quick at it. Also builds rapport with clients, recurring clients. So I mean, tool bag, like I said, batteries, just miscellaneous tools in my toolbox. But let's go ahead and come back here and let's just start getting this sucker set up. I'm going to start with power. Make sure that we have power at this house. That's not good. That doesn't have a ground. There's a plug. I don't know how good that is, but it's gonna have to work. Please work, actually. That's what we should be saying. Yep, we got the light on. So it works. Hopefully we don't burn the house down. This is a extremely, I don't know what gauge this thing is. It's like a $200 extension cord. It's whatever the gutter machine, the KWM says that you should use with the gutter machine. This 5-inch machine, it's about $8,000 machine. You should probably do what they say whenever it comes to an $8,000 machine. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get this saw set up. Cool. We don't have very long runs on this house. They're actually really short. I think it's a total of 6 pieces and 5 downspouts with no miters. This house is getting the guards, so. All right, we got that. Hopefully I do have an extra extension cord on me. My guys took our little cord out, but I'll need all that in a second. Level. Love these little Milwaukee torpedo levels. And then on the side of these KWMs, there's a little power outlet. Handy, you can plug in your miter saw, you can charge some batteries, plug in a radio, whatever you want to do. Now, with these miter saws, this cord has been ripped out of this saw twice, or the prongs have, because guys would have the saw hooked up to it and then go to move the saw for downspouts and rip the cord. So look, I made a fix. You cut the cord short and force them to have to plug it into an extension cord. Like so. This is how to remove a coil from a spool. I guess remove the spool from the gutter machine, the KWM. It's just got these little, you see the pin? You pull the pin. This is the brake. You undo that. Same thing on this side. These can get pretty heavy. I think that there's about 85 feet on this one. You get up to those 300 pounders, you don't want to be doing it alone. So this, we're just gonna set it aside. It'll go under here eventually. And then once it gets back to the office, we'll label them. We try to always label these. This one actually doesn't have a label because I picked it up just last night for this job. This was a surprise job. They said, we need it done now. I said, I'll work on Saturday. So, make an extra $1,000 when I didn't mean to. See, it ends a little boo-booed, but that doesn't matter because we're going to cut that off anyways to feed it into the machine. I always try to line up the holes in the spool here. And you can see on these KWM spools, I don't know about the other spools, but it'll give you a rough number for. So for these, this is what we use. It shows you roughly, it's roughly about 85 to 100 pounds on here. Actually, I think it's close to it. I know how much is on here, but you can see you can push up on it and it gives you wiggle room. So it's not exact, but it tells you a little bit. When you feed this on, you want to make sure that when this unrolls, it unrolls towards you. Just pick it up, throw it on there. Go ahead, put your pin back in. Both sides. If you ever do put the coil on here backwards to where you can't feed it right, you can always pull that and this will spin. So you can actually spin it around all the way. As you can see, it's pretty stiff. So, but it is an option, especially on those bigger coils. It beats taking it off there and putting it back on. See, these are what I use these shears for. They're actually just gardening shears, but it works for this. KWM says that you should do 3x3 triangle. Just roughly. I think I frequently do more than a 3x3, but now when feeding this thing, it goes in between this and this. You want to feed this thing back. You want to be, I don't know if you're really going to be able to see this, but there's, so in this KWM Ironman 5-inch, there's 3 little rollers, and then the motor, the first, I think it's the first motor, I think there's multiple, is back there. It's a big wheel. You want to get it jammed into that big wheel, and then over on this side, you're not going to be able to see this, there's a go button, so you can get it, so it's going in. Look, this whole coil has this gross line. We'll get it hung. Hopefully it's not noticeable. Hopefully it's on the back side of that coil, so hopefully it's fine. We're gonna run this sucker through. There we go. Go backwards a little bit. Looks pretty good. Snap that first little bit off. That's our scrap pile. So now we've got our coil running through. We're gonna need end caps. I should have more end caps than that. Okay, there's some in here. There's gotta be. There's some. Okay, how many left does that give me? 4 left, 4 right. Should have 6. Okay, there's 5 left. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 left. There's 2 of the right, so there we go. We're ready to start running gutter. We're going to use our crimps. Run this out a little more. So I like to go around one way and then flip them. Just try to do 2 on each side. I don't know if you really have to flip the crimps. That's what I like to do. It's extra safety. Then it's crimp from both ways. Harder to get off there. But at the end of the day, once you use this GeoCell 2320, this is a, what is it? Tripolymer sealant. This tube might try to bust on us. It's a recycled tube. I don't know how it is, but once this sealant goes on here, it sticks good. So what we do now, this is not very COVID friendly, but it's what we get. Slobber on your fingers. Stick your fingers in here. If you don't get your fingers wet, you can use a water bottle if you want, sure, but spit is just right there. So if you don't get your fingers wet, your fingers will just instantly get covered in sealant. So we're going to take our tape measure. We're not going to strap it to the end cap. We're going to strap it to the back side of the gutter. If you do the end cap, it can bend that. We're going to go ahead, run our longest piece. We're going to go longest to shortest. That way if we end up running out of coil, which we shouldn't, but if we end up running out of coil, we only have to buy a little amount versus having to buy 25 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and start this sucker up. Our trailer is positioned a little weird, but that's okay. Where are we going? 24, 11 and a quarter. Look at our stand here. Turn that jog. So over here we have a couple different switches: forward, reverse, and then this is jog on, jog off. So I just turned jog on and that allowed me to go down there. We're going 24, 11 and a fourth. So let's go adjust this. You can run these gutters for a little ways, but no need to if we got the stands here. A lot of people opt in for the more expensive stands. Honestly, kind of unnecessary. These stands do just fine, my opinion. I wish I had something set on this. Downspout crimps. There we go. 24, 11 and a fourth. That's where the tediousness of this machine comes in. You just gotta get it right. Just perfect. You see this line that we cut here? Ooh, we'll get it. Dang, it's just wanting to go 11 and a half. There we go. That's a fourth. Cool. Get our tape back. Guillotine. Go ahead and slide that down. Put that end cap on there. Cool. Now our hangers. So a good rule of thumb, every 18 inches we got to seal this. good rule of thumb, every 18 inches. The first one goes about 6 inches in, and about every 18 inches should be about a foot step. So let's walk down, taking short steps. This is getting gutter guards on it, so a lot of times I like to do a little closer than that even, but you just don't want them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 feet apart from each other. I've seen it. We all have. It's ghetto. So, there we go. We can scoot some of these down now. Cool, we're good. So this is this 24 footer. It's actually just right behind me. So, I'm gonna mark that off. Is it right behind me? No, this is on the front of the house. This is this piece. Just gonna set it down easy. You don't want to scratch the gutter. There we go.